King's Backyard Farming, here we go.
We got a bit of the pumpkins are starting to look pretty good.
Well, when did you last put the urea on them, Mitchell?
The chopper did it probably a week and a half ago.
About a week and a half ago. So that happens every couple of weeks?
Here comes the helicopter now.
Oh, right, eh?
Hey, Mr. Wolf, the helicopter. How you going, George?
We're going for a cuppa. You want to come?
Hey, Rodney, you want to go for a cuppa?
Love it. Great idea.
If you want to come in our helicopter, you need to know a bit about safety before we go anywhere. So you'll all be wearing a headset so we can hear each other and talk to each other.
Yep.
Got a push button to be able to talk. Your seatbelts are a bit like a car in an aeroplane. You need to open the doors at any time in case of an emergency landing.
Hey, Rodney, safety first, mate.
Safety first, Mitchell.
Backyard Farming, here we go.
Really wants to come, I think.
There's the next lot of melons we're going to be planting. There they are, picking the melons. We live in a fantastic place of Australia, don't we, Rodney?
We certainly do, Mitchell. It's very wild and rugged in this part of the world. It's an exciting place to live.
Looks like we're going out to have a look at the Katherine Gorge before we have a cuppa.
Couldn't have had a better plan myself, Mitchell.
How you going, John?
Hey, Mitchell.
Good to see you, mate.
You too.
Oh, that was a fantastic trip.
Yeah,
Helicopter you use for spreading fertiliser and spraying on the farm.
that's the one, yeah. And a little bit of tourism as well.
Bit of tourism.
Yeah.
And your tourism business is called?
Katherine Helicopters.
Katherine Helicopters. So people can come and do that exact same trip we've
Yeah,
just done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
You going to have a cup of tea?
let's go and have a cup of tea. You can't get a better day than this.
Damper should be ready.
Damper too. Mr. Wolf was pretty upset.
Yeah, I bet.
He went in the boot of a jet at Christmas time. He wasn't too keen on that. We're flying back and we could hear this dog barking under the plane.
Yeah.
Looks like you need a four-wheel drive to get here, bud.
Oh, yeah. You just use the territory four-wheel drive you came in.
Yeah, that's a good one. Black Pearl.
Black Pearl, yeah, she's fine.
Already going here, John.
Already going.
Got a camp oven and everything happening.
Go down about 2 inches and then you got rock. Is it?
Here we go.
Not quite rolling, but it'll do.
I don't think we're having damper.
Oh, she's cooked.
Billy T will be good.
Lucky this is about farming and not MasterChef.
You want to have a look, John?
No, I thought that. I've seen everything I need to see.
See you there, mate. Can't beat Billy T. So Sharon made some nice mango and raspberry jam out of our mangoes.
Oh, lovely.
That was for the damper, but
Thank you.
that'll be good. And here's some of our honey. Nice. It's really dark up in the territory, but tastes fantastic. I'll put some in me tea.
Yep.
Oh, a bit of milk, be good. Perfect.
Honey from King's Farms.
King's Farms honey. Let's go down here, sit near the river and
Yeah, come on, have a look.
have a yak.
Spot. farming, or a better question for Mitchell. In quite a while, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They've got the some of the streets named after the original peanut farmers who were the Russians, weren't they?
Have helicopters been used long though up here for ag spraying and fertiliser spreading, etc.?
They certainly have for the last 30 odd years that I know of, and previously before that there was a fellow who used to work for Helli, I believe, who did do some around Darwin.
Yep.
And that wasn't for a very long time.
Yep.
But yeah, the helicopters used in ag spraying has been going on by itself for quite a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the benefit of spraying with a helicopter? We use you a bit for that, but
They're reasonably cost effective. They do a very good job. I know some of the ground crops down south, you don't get the tire marks from the tractor through the paddock, so therefore you get the better full growth right across the paddocks. Compared to the airplane, they've got the downdraft. It seems to swell the spray around.
Yep.
And they're very efficient. You can land on site and get the job done in a very short amount of time.
Something at your farm, Mitchell, it's happened quite a bit in the last few years. I think it takes Sam maybe 4 or 5 days to get around the orchard with the orchard sprayer.
Yep.
And then when there's something that needs to be done, insect attack or fungus or something, then John can get the helicopter over the orchard in just a couple of hours. Is that right?
yeah, when we need to catch up, definitely.
Yeah, it's a quick way to do it if you need to catch up. Yeah.
And when we got to spray with low volumes,
Yep.
so, but we also use you to spread fertiliser as well on the pivot.
And that's something we're doing more of recently.
Yep.
It's quite enjoyable doing the spray work, the fertilising.
Yeah.
Something a little bit different for me, the different type of flying, but it's also very efficient.
So it's fine when we only got to put a tonne over the whole pivot, but if we had to put a tonne per hectare, it just would not be viable.
Yeah, it gets a bit harder with the heavier rates.
Yeah. So, but when we're just putting a top dressing of urea or something on the pumpkins, 1 tonne, 100 kilos a hectare,
Yep.
it works out very cost effective.
Works well for us.
So,
Do you work at all with the cattle people, John?
Yeah,
with the
no,
helicopter?
definitely. We still do. I still do a lot of mustering.
You do you?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been doing that for quite a long time, for 15 odd years, I suppose.
Would that generally be with 1 or 2 other pilots, other 2 machines?
Quite often, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not very often anymore you go into paddocks just by yourself. There's a few places still, all the smaller places do that, but then a lot of the smaller places too, on the plateau in particular, they can trap their cattle, trap them on water,
Yep.
or lick block,
Yep.
and then you're just there to tidy up.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the biggest muster I've been on, there was 5 of us in the paddock, 5 helicopters.
Yep.
wow.
Quite a long day, quite entertaining.
I bet.
And visually, you just keep track of each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. You know who's beside you. You
Yep.
never go past the pilot next to you.
Oh, so there's
You always
strict.
know who's next to you this side and
Yep.
who's next to you that side.
Yeah. There's been a lot of pilots doing mustering that have lost their lives. It must be fairly dangerous.
It's not as dangerous as for people who are well trained. There's a lot of pilots nowadays who don't get the training they used to.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of goes along with the demise of some of the bigger companies who had the mentoring. The ability to mentor junior pilots has been taken away from us largely by cash unless you jump through a great big amount of hoops.
Yeah.
And that's the number one safety issue we have at the moment is to be able to mentor these. We call them junior pilots, no matter how old they are, when they first
Just don't
come
have
into
the
industry.
hours. Yeah.
They don't have the hours of the experience. So it's one thing to fly a helicopter up and down around an airstrip, but when you actually go mustering and you can put yourself in a really bad situation, and that's where you need to be able to mentor people.
So I've watched them do the mustering. They're right down in amongst the trees, like nearly touching the cattle sometimes.
If they have to, yeah.
Yeah.
A really good muster, you can just stay up there a couple hundred feet and not go anywhere near them.
Yeah.
And that's what we do strive for that. But sometimes you can't help it.
I've heard it said, John, before that the best chopper pilots when it comes to moving cattle are people who have actually worked with them on the ground,
Yep.
whether in bikes or on horses. Would you agree with that?
From what I've seen lately, yeah, I would, but a lot of the originals weren't. As my father would say, if they can understand attack and defence, played sport or something like that,
Okay.
they can pick it up pretty well.
Yeah.
But it is certainly it's a difficult operation, and nowadays with the type of mustering, we try and take everything quietly and not stir any animals up, because what you do in the paddock goes all the way through to the water networks. So you keep them quiet here, and they're quiet in the yard, and they're quiet on the truck. And if you work cattle, it's a lot easier to get your head around it as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Work them as a mob.
I think they've actually got something out of that damper. Mate, how did you manage that? That looked pretty
carving involved.
bit like a watermelon, all green on the outside and beautiful on the inside. This was black on the outside. And
Well, there you go. We better have a go.
we
at
got
this
some
one.
honey and some jam. Didn't you bring the whipped cream?
Well, there you go. Good recovery, Captain.
Well done.
Hey?
Well done. That's the only good bit out of the middle.
It's a shout. Just peeled it
It's
off.
a shell. Better try some of this mango jam that we've made. Yeah, Sharon's won quite a lot of awards at the Katherine show with her jams and that. In fact, last year she took the whole show for the most number ones in all the categories. I think she had, I can't remember, probably not even close to being right, but I think she had something like 20-something blue ribbons in the gardening sector, in the jam sector, in the cake sector, and the crocheting. So there was a lot of, she did really well. Yeah, Sharon should come and cook the damper, that's what we should be doing. There you go, Rodney, there's some.
Let's have a go at that. Thank you very much.
There you go, Sam.
Mangoes from King's Farms.
I think Sam recovered this
Yeah,
damper.
Sam's the one that peeled it.
Beautiful.
So it's a traditional way of cooking the damper, you just chuck it on the coals.
Yeah.
Peel the outside off.
Oh, delicious.
So how'd you come up with fixing up that damper, Sam? What was the go with that?
I'd seen how the Indigenous cook their damper, and
Seen how they traditionally do it straight on the coals. And
I'd
I
seen
figured
how they traditionally do it straight on the coals, and you just peel the outside off, so the core's usually pretty good.
it's actually quite nice.
Delicious.
Good recovery.
That honey really takes the bite out of strong black tea, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey? It really does.
That's actually nice damper.
It's really good damper. What do you mean it's actually nice?
Well, I've seen what colour. I've seen what colour it was in that. Here we are. It's beautiful.
Great place for smoko, Mitchell. Great spot.
I might try some of that honey, actually.
Yeah, try some of the honey.